Damn, so Bleach's Thousand Year Blood War Season 3 came to an end. We got a little bit of some foresight into the future of Bleach's Thousand Year Blood War because I'm gonna be honest, I don't think at the very least in totality that the Bleach anime is going to go away entirely, completely after the end of the 4th Cour. Because you already know, in case you don't, that Bleach's Thousand Year Blood War, as soon as it was announced, they gave it 4 cours, roughly 50 some odd episodes for the entirety of its run. And where we stand with it right now, as of the recording of this one, essentially there is one season, one cour left, roughly 12 to 13 episodes of Bleach's Thousand Year Blood War to go. Season 3 wrapped itself up, and I ain't gonna lie, it was absolutely incredible. They just did a phenomenal job, something that we talked about here on the channel pretty extensively. In case you're not subscribed, in case you haven't hit that bell, you should definitely do so, because we talk about all sorts of different stuff in the world of anime and manga over in these parts right here. But yeah, there was just so much greatness that came from this thing, a lot in part due to the fact that Tite Kubo, original creator of the Bleach manga, he just added in so much new stuff, and he even announced a lot of stuff that is going to be new for the next season, the next part, the next cour, part 4. He already announced a lot of stuff because yeah, there was so many times where damn near entire episodes of the Bleach Thousand Year Blood War Season 3 were straight up original material. It wasn't like, you know, oh, we're just gonna stick close to the manga, we're not gonna. No, homie and Studio Puro banded together and were like, say less, we're gonna work together and create one of the most bomb seasons of all time. Because I was just immensely impressed. Like, there was nothing more to be said as far as, like, if anybody had any type of down talk about this season of Bleach, the only thing I could think of that could actually even be, I don't want to say valid, but that could kind of be said in a more so negative fashion, I guess, would be, as far as like Bleach's Thousand Year Blood War, is the fact that with Season 3, maybe you could say that, oh, it doesn't have immense amounts of Sakuga animation. And if that's your thing, if that's the only reason you watch anime, is that you need that fluidity, that Sakuga, then by all means, do you, fam. Who am I to stop you and jump in your way? But if you're not one of those people that are just stressing out over Sakuga, and you're happy with beautiful art, decent to great animation, and overall a story that is just rocking, knocking, and kicking major air, then Bleach Thousand Year Blood War Cour 3 delivered incredibly. On top of the fact that it seems as though one of the things that the anime has done so great in comparison to the manga, and the manga did a decent job with it, didn't really go too hard with it, but I think a lot of it is due to, again, Tite Kubo adding in new input and the way they were structuring things, is that one of the characters that is supposed to be really important and really vital to things, and in the manga it didn't feel as valid, was really much so important and valid to everything that was happening, and looked just like an incredible beast during this whole part. And that's Ishida Uryu. Ishida Uryu impressed me. I still can't even believe it. There was times where, I ain't gonna lie, I was like, they're doing too much. They're making it look like Ishida Uryu is just some god tier being that we never understood up until this point, because from the jump, from the beginning of Cour 3 of Bleach's Thousand Year Blood War, homie starts off with taking out one of Squad Zero. Mind you, this is Squad Zero. This is not no, you know, run-of-the-mill Shinigami, run-of-the-mill Rancor, one of the low tier of any kind. This is one of Squad Zero, some of the Royal Guard, some of the strongest Shinigami in the history of the Serate and in the entirety of Bleach's Thousand Year Blood War. And that power-up that Uryu got from, you know, Bach giving him some of his power early on, that was something that just took dude from the Ishida that we knew, the one that, you know, he was kind of fighting little low tier battles in some of the parts of Bleach, and he never really was like the creme de la creme or anything like that, to taking out Squad Zero members. Like, let's not downplay something like that. Again, it's with a power up, with a buff. Like, imagine there's just some sort of mage behind him throwing him power or whatever, but either way, homie did his thing. Like, homie was just on some next level. Like, you cannot stop him, because then we go from that aspect where, again, he takes out Senjumaru, he took out Shorty and wiped her out, finishing the battle against the, you know, Squad Zero. Then he goes in a battle against Ichigo, main character, you know, dude that he's like a part of damn near every freaking race in the Bleach universe. He goes up against him, and granted, Ichigo wasn't going all out. Let's be honest here. Like, I'm not gonna jump in and say like, oh, no, this was 100% Ichigo. Ichigo clearly was like, I want to knock some sense into you. You know what I'm saying? Like, why are you working with Bach? What are we doing here, fam? But then ultimately at the same time, he was not trying to like take him out the map. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't trying to wipe him out or anything like that. He was just trying to give him a little bit of a Mita, chaos. Like, he was just trying to have him see the error of his ways, so to speak, because Ichigo was still flabbergasted throughout this, you know, season of why are you working with the bad guys? Like, these are people that were responsible for a lot of horrible things that happened to both of our lives. Like, what are you doing, fam? So I'll throw in that argument there that Ichigo wasn't going all out. But regardless of what, Uryu gave him some work, because if Ichigo's goal was, yo, I gotta stop dude, yo, I gotta get him to see the error of his ways, he failed. Like, Uryu still ultimately in that squabble, in that battle, was able to pierce through Ichigo and send him flying off the platform of the royal palace. So that is again another testament to, oh, Uryu is not no joke. And then let's not forget something that Tite Kubo added in from out of nowhere that is just, well, let me not say out of nowhere, but it was just an incredible anime original battle that I didn't see coming, and I was so grateful that we got it. Uryu versus Renji. Uryu versus Renji, didn't see that one coming. Uryu versus Renji, that was just, I couldn't even believe it. I was like, bro, what we doing here, fam? And once again, you could throw the argument that at the end of the day, maybe Renji wasn't giving it 100%, but I'll throw some pushback to that. Renji was damn near giving 99.9. Like, there was maybe a slight, tiny bit of reluctance off the strength of alone that's my man's. You know what I'm saying? That's Ichigo's homie. I'm not gonna go too, but for the most part, we know how Renji is. If you've been watching Bleach, which there's hundreds of episodes of Bleach, you know, for the most part, Renji, he'll go as far as like, I'll try not to take his head clean off. Like, that's probably the extent of Renji's holding back from Uryu. And Uryu, once again, was able to overcome and take out Renji. This is no joke to say that Cour 3, bar none, the most valuable player, the MVP of Bleach Thousand Blood War Cour 3, is easily Ishida Uryu. Like, this was his story arc of this entire saga kind of condensed down, because obviously it starts off with, holy cow, he's a traitor, what the heck, he's fighting Squad Zero, he's going through all these battles, he's fighting his friends, and then by the end of it, because of the, I guess you would say, interference of Haschwald and Haschwald's ability to kind of see what's really going on, ultimately we see the reversal of, oh, all along this was just a ruse so that essentially Uryu could get close to Bach, and so on and so forth, essentially kind of, I don't want to say wrapping up Uryu's character arc entirely, but I think they did a phenomenal job. If that was all planned out from start to finish of, yo, we're gonna make this the Uryu season, they did a great job. Cour 3 of Bleach easily goes to Uryu. Don't get me wrong, there was a lot of other really awesome stuff that happened in the Cour. You had Zaraki Kenpachi throwing down, you have the return of Grimmjow, one of the fan favorite characters that people absolutely love. You had the return of one of my all-time favorite characters. If you don't know, now you know. The man, the myth, the legend, the man that from a chair was able to do greatness. And we're talking about, yes, people, Sasuke Aizen. Homie was on another level, and it was just phenomenal to even see that. Yeah, it was a little bit of a dicey situation with Kyoraku having to go down there, and he had to get special permissions, and he had to put the key inside of his body. Like, there was a lot that Kyoraku had to do, and let's not even skip over the fact that Kyoraku is the new Captain Commander after what happened to, you know, Captain Commander Yamamoto in the last Cour. But aside from that big revelation, and also the big battle that he had against one of the freaking Quincy Supremes, one of, you know, Bach's elites, so to speak. But yo, Aizen's return and inclusion into things, and it kind of just being a catalyst to whatever the heck is to come for Aizen, because you could clearly see that Aizen still was restricted. He was able to do a lot of great things. He was able to tank a direct blow from homie, but ultimately he still was like demonstrating that no, like he was damn near gonna lift up the royal palace from being strapped down to a chair. Which also brings me to another thing, that homie was able to power up. Homie was able to get stronger than he was in the last couple of years. What has been like 17 months, I think, since the, you know, sealing of Aizen, of his defeat against Ichigo, whatnot, like a year and a half, whatever it was. Since then, he got 10 times stronger seemingly, and that's that he's been strapped to a chair. This is one of those cases where you look at him and you kind of want to almost compare him to, like, I don't want to say Frieza, because Aizen and Frieza are very different characters, very different motives, very different stories, all of that stuff, but only from the one aspect of dude doesn't have to to train and still is a beast. Imagine if we had some sort of Aizen training arc. Imagine if we had some sort of part that showcases what Aizen can truly do if he actually put his full mind and in general his intentions into getting stronger, not just being strapped to a damn chair that they had him the last however long. Like, Sosuke Aizen is that dude, and Bleach 1000 Year Blood War Cour 3 demonstrated just another level of absolute greatness for Sosuke Aizen. And again, I don't want to skip over new Captain Commander Kyoraku and his battle against Lily with the sniper and all that stuff, and him having to kind of have those conversations and go back and forth in his mind with his Zanpakuto, the spirit within, and all of those epic things. Like, this was just another level of a great season of Bleach, and I honestly, in retrospect, have to look back and be very grateful for the long hiatus that Bleach had from, you know, the end where we didn't know if we would ever see Bleach's anime return with episode 366, if I'm not mistaken, back in 2012. All of those years, yeah, it was painful. Yeah, fans would have loved to have gotten it sooner, but I don't think you get this level of quality, this level of dedication. You know, Tite Kubo, when he ended the Bleach manga in 2016, homie was very much so physically and health-wise not too good. You know, he was going through a lot at that particular point. I don't think, you know, we get the anime, he does all of these things, you know, the extra anime original stuff, the inclusion of things that was not in the manga. I don't think any of that happens if Tite Kubo doesn't get that break. I don't think the amount of quality that's been put, the love and passion into the art and all of those aspects as well, I don't think that happens if Bleach doesn't go off air and fans year after year clamor and beg Studio Pierrot, please bring it back, please give us the anime. I don't think all of what happens and what Bleach's 1000 Year Blood War has been thus far with the first 3 cores even comes close to the level that we got if it isn't for all of those factors. So sometimes you got to be grateful for a bit of a break, even if it means that, yeah, we waited for quite some time. Which leads me to Cour 4 and the future of Bleach's 1000 Year Blood War moving forward, because we know at the end of the day that there is still a lot more Bleach that can be animated outside of the end of the manga. Like, yes, there's still 12 to 13 more episodes, maybe an episode or 2 more. It just depends on how much they decide to do for this upcoming final season or whatnot, and that wraps up, or it's going to ideally wrap up, the entirety of the Bleach manga. Everything that we got in Bleach's original serialization, that should ideally be the closing, so to speak, of the tale of Bleach. However, we do know that there's a few extra, or quite a few different things that have not been animated, of course, and that come after the events of the end of the Bleach manga, or in between the end of the Bleach manga. We know there's a few different light novels. There's the Can't Fear Your Own World. There's, like, I want to say 2 to 3, maybe even 4 light novel series that need to be adapted, which that could go for episodes upon episodes. Alone, the Can't Fear Your Own World, I think, is like 3 different light novels, and that could possibly be a season or 2 of an anime. Then there's, of course, the Hell arc that has been started by Tite Kubo, that we got the one shot thus far that is still incomplete, and we possibly are going to get 1 more part, maybe even 2. That could be something, either another mini season of an anime. I'm still going to very much so strongly lean on they're going to aim for a film for that one. It just makes the most sense. I don't know when they would do that, because I think they might want to focus in more on some of the light novels first, while Kubo continues to do what he's going to do for the manga side of things. And also, of course, Studio Pierrot has some other properties that have been waiting for a while, you know, Boruto's Return, Black Clover. So we'll see how that goes, but regardless, there's more to come with Bleach. And recently, towards the end of the run of the anime, one of the voice actors came out and he said a couple of different things that got fans pretty excited. Let's read this real quick. On the flip side, Ishida's voice actor, you know, Uryu Ishida, Noriaki Sugiyama, teased that the final season is one that will not disappoint. As you may know, the conflict was a season that was packed with a lot of settings and episodes under the supervision of Kubo Sensei. Meanwhile, the reason why Uryu joined the Quincy side was finally revealed, and the story ended at a turning point. As a reader of Bleach, I'm looking forward to seeing how many episodes the production team and the Sensei have worked out in the 4th season. Also, when the scenes depicted in the original manga were animated, I think there were many new things that could be felt when they were made into videos, such as, I didn't know the world would expand so much, and I didn't know how the movements would look in video. The same goes for the 4th season, and there is no doubt that it will be a series that will not disappoint everyone. So I hope you look forward to the same superb quality as before. And I think even the voice actor for Ichigo Kurosaki also came out, the Japanese voice actor, and said that there's possibly going to be more for Bleach. Look out for the future of it, not just the end of the Blood War stuff. So there is a lot to come for Bleach, even if there's potentially a break after the end of the next core. And I'm very much so looking forward to it. I think that Studio Pierrot has nailed ForneverWorld how to take such an illustrious and huge property like Bleach and turn it into something that is of quality. Like, this is, of the big three, I want to say, and I'm going to throw the argument that none of the others in comparison to this in particular run that the Thousand Year Blood War has had for Bleach's anime is of the same level, of the same quality, and just in general hitting the same like Bleach's Thousand Year Blood War. Like Naruto, of course, the anime wrapped up so many years ago now, and we had Boruto, and that went off air or whatnot, but there was not, you know, a consistent run of Naruto because it was a weekly release that you could compare to this. Likewise with One Piece. Like, One Piece has definitely leveled up a lot over the last few years in terms of the art and animation, but even so, in comparison to what's being done with Bleach, Bleach right now is in a league of its own, and I'm very much so happy to give it its praise and its props in general. Big ups to Bleach, and shout outs to Tite Kubo, because yeah, Cour 3, I don't think it would have been the same without all of that anime original stuff that he penned himself. Peace.
I must go, the time is now. I must go, it's time to get out.